Good morning. Thank you all for joining. We will give just a moment to clear the waiting room and make sure that folks have connected to audio. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are providing testimony before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Thanks, Danny. Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Licensing Board, and today I'm also joined by Commissioner Liam Curran and Commissioner Kiana Saxon.
Thank you. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly if you will be providing testimony this morning. I will call each item in the order that it appears in this morning's agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify. I will then swear in all parties. After that, the police report will be read into the record, and the licensee or their representative will have the opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. All testimony will be limited only to those individuals with firsthand personal knowledge of the alleged incident. Begin with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, Azumi LLC, doing business as Zuma, located at 1 Dalton Street. Date of the incident, October 22nd, 2024. Assault and battery, patron on patron, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, Chapter 265, Section 13A. Assault and battery, patron on employee, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. And failure to cooperate with Boston police investigators in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.10A and B. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the licensee. With me this morning, a number of personnel, not all of whom will have to testify. James Adams, who's the general manager of the licensee, and management employees Grace Workman, Paige Tobias, and Cassandra Perez. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Adams appears to be the only person you've mentioned who I see on screen right now. If any of the others are planning on providing testimony, please do turn your cameras on so that we can identify you and also swear you in.
James, do you have the other individuals with us?
Yes, yeah. I see Grace is on. I see Cass is on. I see Paige Tobias as well as on. So if you guys can turn on your camera.
I see Mr. Adams and I see Ms. Tobias. And that's all I see on the camera right now. Thank you. I will ask in the meantime, while others may come on camera, I will ask who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department.
Detective Lumbo was summoned, but Lieutenant Detective Troy.
Thank you. And are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher. I can read the LPV into note.
Thank you. With that, if all who are planning to testify are on camera, please do raise your right hand. Sorry, Detective Webster.
Yeah, I was just saying Detective Webster, BPD Civil Rights Unit with Lieutenant Detective Troy.
Yeah, that's Kenya. That's going to be the third matter heard.
Yep, we're on item number 1 right now related to Zuma.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could all who are planning to testify on item number 1 please raise your right hand?
I do.
Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you very much. Lieutenant Troy, will you be reading the police report into the record for the board?
Yes. Reading from a report authored by Police Officer Villanueva. It reads as follows. On Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, Officer Villanueva signed to the front desk of District 4, took the following walk-in report for an aggravated assault. that occurred on Monday, October 20th at approximately 11 p.m. at Zuma, Boston, 1 Dalton Place, Boston. The officer spoke to the victim, Alex Lagoris, who stated that he met his business partner at approximately 7:30 p.m. at Zuma in the Four Seasons Hotel for dinner. The victim stated that they sat at the bar when, at approximately 9 p.m., two females sat next to them. The victim stated that at approximately 10:30 p.m., he and his business partner paid their tab, and at this point, one of the female parties was returning from the restroom and began pointing at the business partner and mumbling something. The victim stated at this point he believed the female may be under the influence of drugs when she suddenly attempted to attack the victim. The victim stated that the suspect threw a drink at him along with a bar stool, which almost struck the victim. The victim stated that that others intervened and restrained the suspect. The victim stated that he informed the staff, the restaurant manager, on 3 occasions that he wanted to press charges and stepped outside to call 911. The victim later learned that the restaurant staff had let the female go without his knowledge. After waiting 40 minutes, he said the victim left and said he would file a report later. This is a secondary report from Detective Lumbum, and it reads as follows. As a result of an ongoing incident into an assault at the Zuma restaurant, a licensed premise within the city of Boston located inside the Four Seasons Hotel at 1 Dalton Street, Detective Lumbum issued a licensed premise violation to Zuma LLC for violations of A&B patron on patron and patron on employee. Violation was signed for by Paige Tobias, and a copy left with her. That's the extent of the 2 reports that I have. Sergeant Detective Gallagher has another report.
Thank you, Sergeant Detective Gallagher.
Yes, sir. On Tuesday, February 18th, 2025, Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez assigned to licensed premise unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of Zuma. While there, detectives also wanted to speak to staff regarding an assault and battery incident that occurred on October 20th, 2024, BPD report 242089859. Detectives spoke to the person in charge, Ms. Cassandra Perez, who confirmed that she was aware of the incident. Detectives informed Ms. Perez that a follow-up case note stated that the staff refused to cooperate with the investigation by refusing to provide video surveillance footage of the incident. As a result of this incident, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued a licensed premise inspection notice number 020696 for failing to cooperate with BPD police investigation by a licensed premise. Ms. Perez signed for and accepted the notice. That's all I had.
Thank you very much. Attorney Quilty, would you like to address the alleged incident?
If I may, excuse me, Lieutenant, I know you have no personal knowledge of this. It's that you're merely reading the report of another officer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in that report, the 2 citations are A and B patron on patron and A and B patron on employee. There is no citation for failure to cooperate with the police. Is there?
That was a separate Sergeant Detective Gallagher.
I mean, on the inspection notice closest to the incident date, there is no citation for failure to cooperate with the police.
No, sir.
Okay. That report, according to the report, which you read into the record, I'm sorry, this was a walk into the station a day or so after the incident is alleged to have occurred in the restaurant.
Yeah, 2 days after the incident.
And then it was another, it appears to be 10 or 12 days before the inspection notice was dropped off and signed for by Paige, who's with us here this morning. Is that right, time-wise?
Yeah, that's what I see here. It was assigned to a detective, and he issued a citation and conducted the inspection on November 7th.
November 7th. And that's the one that's signed by Paige Tobias, and she's with us here today.
Yes.
And then, if I may just jump quickly to Detective Gallagher for a moment.
Yes, sir.
Then your inspection notice was delivered approximately 4 months later
Correct.
in February.
Correct.
And your report indicates detectives informed Ms. Perez that a follow-up case note stated that the staff refused to cooperate by refusing to provide video surveillance. Is there such a report? I've not seen it.
I was approached by Detective Lumbum because he wasn't able to get what he wanted. When that first LPV was written out, there was the investigation had not started, so that's why that box was checked to cooperate. But in the time after that first LPV, in the time that we showed up, Detective Lumbum had called them several times. He actually had called me several times, informing me that he was not getting what he wanted. And on his case notes, inside his case file for the investigation, he checked off that the management was not cooperating by not providing him the video he needed in order to follow up on the case.
Is that something normally would have been provided to me in furtherance of this hearing this morning?
No.
I've not seen any such.
No, you probably wouldn't. That's his internal case notes of where the case is going. He would just report that to us, and we would memorize it in our report.
And do you recall? Does he indicate, because the woman who he spoke to, Grace Workman, is with us here this morning? Did he mention that name?
It's been a while, sir. We just talked to Ms. Perez that night, and she was aware of it, and the other staff member we talked to. Everyone seemed to be aware of this, but that name does not ring a bell, sir, with me.
It's written, if I may, Counselor, it's written in the detective's notes that he spoke to, left a voicemail for Grace, spoke to Grace, and then Grace told him that her GM had informed her company policy does not allow dissemination of video. So that's written in the detective's case notes.
Okay. So, well, she's here this morning. She can certainly testify that. So is there any particular reason why it took 4 months to present those facts to the people at Zuma?
I think they knew about it prior to the 4 months. It was after so much time that he said, "I'm just not getting this, Sarge. Can you help me out?" And that's what we did. And we work nights, and it wasn't on our list as priority. Certain nights we get there and they're not open, but we eventually did get there. We did speak to them, and that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm. And you, speaking of this establishment, you don't have a history of occurrences at this establishment, do you, Sergeant?
No, sir.
Maybe I can, Counselor, maybe I can help you out there a little bit in that the matter was initially scheduled for a March hearing in front of the licensing board. And then when we looked into the detective's notes, we discovered that it came to light that that video wasn't provided when it was requested. And then the secondary violation was issued at that stage.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Lieutenant. I do think, and again, all these individuals are here. Ms. Perez simply signed for the second violation in February. She was not a part of the incident itself, but she may have said she was aware of it. But in any event, she simply signed for the February matter. Ms. Workman is the one person we believe who had, any knowledge of the incident. She was called by a detective. She's not certain of the detective's name. She can testify. She simply said, according to her, that she told the person that she had to ask her superior before she could release anything. She didn't have authority herself to do so. She then will tell you that there was a second call to her on a day when she was not working. A message was left by the detective. She returned the call of the detective, was only able to leave a voicemail, and that was the very last time she heard from anyone with regard to the video. So she would tell you that she thought she had done what she was supposed to do and never got directions back when she called the detective back. And that's her only involvement. I mean, she can testify. She's here this morning. And we think this is unfortunately a mistake. Mr. Adams is here, who's the GM and ultimately responsible. He's the person who would have had to approve the release of the video. He would have done so. We have the video with us. We will provide it immediately to the board. There was no attempt here to hold anything back. It was just, I think, unfortunately, the passage of time and the missed messages that led to kind of the confusion on the part of, people at the restaurant. Again, I mean, Mr. Adams will tell you that they've restated to all the employees and all the staff what their responsibilities are when requested by the Boston Police Department for information, for videos, for assistance, etc. Unfortunately, we feel this is a grave series of, happenings that occurred with no fault, if you will, and no attempt to hide anything, merely a failure to kind of connect after the initial phone call. Again, we have the video. We'll provide it immediately. And would the board like to hear from Ms. Workman?
Does she have something to say? Or
I mean, she's the one who received the
no,
phone.
I know. I have questions that maybe, I don't know if she has a statement, but I do have questions for everyone.
Well, Mr. Adams, I think, as the ultimately responsible person, would like to make a statement about their policies and procedures. And again, this was simply an employee suggesting that they didn't have the authority to release.
Did the employee then go seek authority?
Well, yes, they did, but then there was a series of missed phone calls. She never connected.
Okay, but I have a question. All right, does Mr. Adams want to talk, or should I just jump into my questions? Do you have a statement, or do you want me to just?
Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Okay. So, Attorney Quilty, you stated that Ms. Workman was called by detectives, and she told the detective she didn't have authority to release the video.
Yes.
So, Ms. Workman, what did you do when you got a call from a Boston police detective and you responded you didn't have authority to release? Did you tell Mr. Adams? Did you tell anyone?
In just one moment, Ms. Workman, before you provide your testimony, you have not been sworn in yet. You weren't on camera. Can you please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may now answer the chair's questions.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
So Attorney Quilty said when you received the first call from the detective and he requested video and you told the detective you didn't have authority to release it.
Correct.
What did you do after that?
So that wasn't the initial reason for calling. He asked me for a recounting of the events, asked if I had the video, and then I went into work and asked James what the policies in place are for that. I personally don't have access to camera playback. We only have access to
Sure.
immediate footage on the floor for
all right. So then you went to the general manager, James Adams, and said a Boston police detective requested video.
Yes.
Mr. Adams, what did you do at that point?
Basically, I gave her instructions, should she hear back from the police, for them to contact me directly, because only myself can view playback. And so basically what never happened after that point was I was never contacted
Okay,
by the
you
police.
didn't think to, I mean, it sounds like the detective called a second time and left a message, and then she returned his call. At any point, did you think it was necessary to pick up the phone and call the detective?
So Grace did call back and left my contact information with them.
Okay. There was a statement that it's the policy not to release video for dissemination.
Correct, because initially the gentleman had asked for the footage. So the gentleman that was involved within that incident basically had asked Grace at the time for the footage. But, for the sake of, people's privacy, our, pretty much flat policy is that we don't share that with individuals unless there's a legal reason to do so.
Okay. And then in the police report it says that the victim informed the restaurant manager. Would that be you, Ms. Workman? That night, the victim informed the restaurant manager 3 times that he wanted to press charges, and then the suspect was let go.
Yes. We have an on-site Four Seasons security. As I was actively dealing with the gentleman who was also very aggressive, I had asked them to call the police as they were getting the woman out of the restaurant. After about 20 minutes and everything in the restaurant had calmed down, I went down to check in with them, and they had informed me that they had let her go as they are not able to detain people, and that they did not call police. I then informed the guest that, and unsure of our policy, I did not call police.
So you were unsure of your policy
Yes.
with such a situation. And the security that you guys hire at the hotel, who sets their policy? They do, or Mr. Adams, do you approve it? Do you work with them?
So the Four Seasons does. So we just rent space there.
Okay.
I think they just knew that the Four Seasons security would respond immediately, and that's why they went there first. So it's the hotel security that was.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is your license, so it's not okay to say someone else decided to let the person go. But I have other questions. So this video, Ms. Attorney Quilty, that you have today, this hearing has been rescheduled several times. And I think you're aware now that I do not appreciate getting videos the morning of a hearing. So when did Mr. Adams send you the video?
Probably a couple of days ago. I mean, last week during a conversation, he provided a lot of backup information. Unfortunately, I was out of commission for a couple of days at the end of the week, so I didn't have it physically until today.
So this is what happens when you're asking questions about the police about why they're getting noticed about something in October and March. We're waiting for video. We're not going to have video when we know we're not going to have a hearing on an incident when we know there's video available until we get the video. But now all this time has gone by. So thank you. We'll wait for that video today. In the future, Attorney Quilty, we want the video ahead of time before the actual hearing at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning.
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
It's difficult for me to prepare for a hearing when I can't review the video and ask questions of the staff that were there that night. As you can imagine, I have to rely very heavily on the police report since you did not submit video. So.
Understood. I do want to let you know, Madam Chair, that Mr. Adams has retrained everyone with regard to their responsibilities concerning requests by the Boston Police Department. I think the situation here was exacerbated by the fact that this is not a locale that's used to dealing with police incidents, et cetera. There was some uncertainty. They're now all cleared up as to their responsibilities with regard to following through on Boston Police Department requests, and this will not happen again.
And what is the policy of Zuma with regards to calling the police?
Mr. Adams?
So basically, every incident, I'm going to be handling directly. So what I think happened, especially on this occasion, was just I understand there's a large caseload, right? So and the times when the detectives have the time to kind of stop by the restaurant is maybe sometimes the time that I'm not there. So it just kind of being extremely proactive so that I can then be that first point of call. Like we just, had, something else happen recently. I immediately the next day called the police officer, found out who is assigned to the case. I left a message with them. So we're now, trying to do our part to be as cooperative as possible, understanding the demands that the police have in regards to these things.
But what about on the night of this incident? You have a patron who threw a drink in a bar stool and other people had to jump in and separate the parties and no one called 911. So what's your policy there? So
now we will assume that the Four Seasons isn't going to do that. We had requested them to call the police because since, that's kind of what happened, and seeing that, that lapse that happened that evening resulted in so much, kind of this kind of protracted kind of case at the moment. We are doing all of this ourselves. So it's making sure that every T is crossed, every I is dotted. We are very sorry that, it appears that we are trying not to be cooperative. That's the furthest thing from the truth. We rely heavily on you guys. We rely, on the city. So this is not what we were absolutely not trying to hide anything. We weren't trying to be cooperative.
Just a
We are always
suggestion, Mr. Adams, in the future, if a Boston Police detective calls one of your staff and you say, give them my number, in case they call back. Personally, I think you should actually get the detective's number and call him yourself. Like, you have a pretty big job there with a lot on the line, and that would go a huge way in the eyes of the board. But you saying, if they call back, let me know type of thing, I don't believe that's the appropriate response for something like this.
Madam Chair, I just do want to point out that in a recent incident, he personally got on the phone, dealt with it himself, and that's the policy going forward.
Good.
So there'll be no questions that he has ultimate responsibility, will cooperate, will provide any information required, and they've begun doing that.
Commissioner Curran, do you have any questions?
Yeah. First question is, how long is the video you're going to be submitting?
The whole incident is maybe 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, but the police report says that the assailant was sitting next to them for approximately an hour and a half. Do you have any of that footage?
I don't. It's been too long, so it's basically just that evening I just kind of clipped the portion of the restaurant manager Grace being involved, trying to separate these two individuals.
Okay, but how are we going to be able to observe whether this was foreseeable, like what was happening prior to the incident?
I could see if that footage is still saved, but we're unfortunately not capable of saving something from 7-8 months ago. So I'll have to check if that's still available.
Yeah, but you understand that if the violation is for assaults and batteries, right? That we're going to want to observe what was going on that led up to that incident, right? Not just like the very moments of like when drinks are thrown or stools were thrown, right?
Yes.
Correct. You would want to see that, yes.
Okay, but you haven't saved that as far as you know, and probably don't have it.
I most likely, usually it's about 90 days that it saves our footage completely.
Okay. Of the people here today, who was there that night? Just Miss Workman?
Just Grace, yeah.
All right. Miss Workman, could you tell me in your own words what happened that night?
Yes.
Please.
So,
Okay.
I believe the ladies had showed up a little bit earlier. Initially, there was no seat at the bar for them, so they wound up standing in our handicapped area next to where the gentlemen were sitting, and they had offered to buy them drinks. So they were talking before they were seated next to them. It just so happened that when seats opened up at the bar, they were on the other side of the corner next to them. They were talking and chatting throughout the night. From what I understand, the gentleman had told me that he had extended his business card to the young woman. And then right before the incident happened, I didn't notice anything out of hand. They weren't loud. They weren't rowdy. They were just simply chatting. When I was in the office starting reports for the evening, I was with my captain, another one of our staff members, and we heard yelling. We immediately got up and got towards our reception stand, which gives us a view of the bar. As she stood up to throw the initial drink, she stood up, had it in her hand. I walked over. She threw the drink and threw the piece of glassware at the gentleman. I got involved. I asked them both to leave.
Can I stop you? Can I stop you right there? Where were you immediately proceeding when the incident kind of kicked off?
So I was in the office when I heard yelling and cursing, and then immediately it's 10 feet away from
Okay,
the bar.
what were your duties that evening? Were you not stationed at the bar?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Who was at the bar when this happened?
We do have bartenders,
Yeah.
but as it was closing down, the gentleman who was supposed to be on the floor, our captain, Antoine, was bringing checks into the office. So as soon as we heard yelling, we went back out. Our bartenders are there, but we don't really expect them to get involved. Because they had stepped away from the bar. Now, like at the
Yeah. How long had you been away from the bar? You had prior to the incident. When's the last time you saw them before you came back out when you heard the yelling?
maybe about 25 minutes, not very long. It wasn't long after I closed the kitchen, which is around 10 o'clock. So when I go to 10:30, when I go to put in.
Okay. Can you identify anyone who would have observed the parties for the 25 minutes that you weren't observing them?
I would have to go back and look at our roster for that day, but I'm sure the bartenders would be able to identify.
Was there any inquiries done about, the people that were there directly to observe it? What was going on amongst these parties?
Inquiries as like what? As an example?
Did you ask whoever was out there?
I asked them.
Like,
I asked
what was going on? How did this happen?
Yeah. One of the bartenders.
So who did you ask?
Victor. He was one of the bartenders there that I remember. Victor Goodman. He just said that everything was fine, and then she started. I also spoke with the gentleman himself. He said that she seemed fine until I don't know what word he used, but she was like pointing at him and just started did a character switch and started yelling at him and cursing at him. And that's what the Victor recounted as well, that everything was fine until it wasn't.
There was also, he called her a prostitute, no? If I
Yeah.
remember correctly,
That
and then
was-
that's what kind of triggered the whole thing.
Yes.
And who said that?
The main gentleman, the one who was directly involved with the incident, did call her a prostitute.
No, who said that he called her a prostitute?
I was there. He called her a prostitute when he kicked her.
So this was after you came out, after it started.
Yes. But then I believe the same words had been exchanged. Something about extending a business card, because I did ask the gentleman what happened. And then she started acting that way and yelling, and he had asked for it back. And I think, I'm not sure if he called it to her then, but I think that is the turning point of when she started acting erratic.
I think that's all I have. Thank you.
I don't
Would
have.
you like us to see if we could get a statement from the bartender?
Not especially. I'll just wait on the video. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and you'll see the video shows that, the young lady does throw the drink, but the gentleman does, try to kick her. Like, it's not, there's no innocent between the two of them. There's both guilty. It's not, the guy, I know he's the one that filed the police report, but he did try to kick a very small young lady.
Sorry, Commissioner Saxon.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, Commissioner Carn, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Adams, for a violation of this nature, it's really not the most relevant for us that what actual punches were thrown, who was throwing back and forth. It's really about whether this was foreseeable, what you could have done prior to it kicking off, what you did do prior to it kicking off. Any number of things. The moment of it kicking off is really generally not the most relevant bit for us. It can be as far as what you do to break it up and stuff like that, but usually the inquiry here is, was this foreseeable? Could you have intervened? Could you have done something to prevent it? All of which I'm getting at, which is why we want the video, not just in the seconds it's happening, but the prior time.
Understood.
If the bartender was out there the whole time and witnessed the incident firsthand, I actually wouldn't mind some sort of affidavit from him.
Okay.
James, can you reach out, make sure is that person still employed, by the way?
Yes, they are.
Okay. You put something together and we'll get it into the board.
Of course. Anything else? Any that I could source for you guys?
Any further questions from the board at this time? And it sounds like we are awaiting the submission of the video and now a statement from the bartender who was on duty that evening as well. With that, the board will take this matter under advisement.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Calling item number 2, BUHDTX LLC, doing business as Boston Chops, located at 52 Temple Place. Date of the incident, February 10th, 2025. Assault and battery, employee on employee, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
It's Fernando Neves, Director of Operations.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Neves, for being with us. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective Ken Curley.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning?
Richard Nolan, he's the general manager and also the manager involved. He's trying to log in right now. He was stuck in traffic.
No worries. Is he potentially the person listed in here as Richie?
Yes.
I'm here, yes.
Great. I can hear you, but I don't see you. Is it possible to turn your camera? There
Yep.
we go.
Just had to pull off to the road.
Yep.
James, I've got another hearing here right away, so I'll call you in a little bit.
Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
That's it. That's all.
Thank you. Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Detective Curley. If you could please read the report into the record for the board.
Yes, good morning. About 10:15 p.m. on Monday, February 10th, 2025, Officer Hassan McDade, while assigned to the front desk of District A1, took a walk-in report for an assault and battery that occurred at 52 Temple Place, Boston, Boston Chops. The officer spoke with the victim, identified as Liz Carolina Vienna Castro, who stated she was assaulted on Friday, February 7th, 2025 at her place of work at the above address. Miss Vienna Castro stated that between 7 and 8 p.m., she was serving tables and she made an error delivering food to the wrong table. Miss Vienna Castro stated that she recognized her error and tried to rectify it. However, her manager, the suspect identified as Richie Nolan, approached her, grabbed her arm forcefully, and yanked her away from the table. Mrs. Vienna Castro stated that she sustained a scratch and also a bruise, and she attended East Boston Medical Center. Mrs. Vienna Castro stated she resigned and left after the incident occurred. Mrs. Vienna Castro stated that the incident would have been captured on cameras inside the restaurant. And that's the supplemental report as well. On February 13th, 2025, Detective Curley and Detective Hurld issued a license premise violation 017443 to Boston Chops at 52 Temple Place, Boston, for a violation of employee on employee assault and battery. The reported incident took place on February 7th at 7:05 hours. And the violation was signed for by Fernando Neves, who fully cooperated with detectives.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neves. Mr. Curley, would you like, sorry, Mr. Neves, Mr. Nolan, would you like to address the alleged incident?
We complied everything. Her timeline is a little off in all of that. And it was the middle of service. There was other people all around. We complied. We provided the footage to the police officers. As far as everything, I mean, I didn't grab her. I didn't assault her. I tugged on her shoulder, on her shirt.
And I also tried to contact her to say we're investigating the incident, but she never replied back. I never heard back from her. No. And the video that we saw, I wasn't present that day, but I saw the video. Clearly, like, she wasn't assaulted. Richard just touched her to call her attention to come and discuss the issue with the table. No one else at the restaurant heard anything what happened. There was another manager present, and also I asked him if he heard what happened. He said, nope, she didn't complain to me or anything.
And also, she was, just to clarify, she did not resign. She was sent home that evening. And then the discussion was had after the fact that she was going to be terminated. So I just, like I said, timeline is a little off.
Thank you. With that, we'll see if there are any questions from the board at this time. Chairman Joyce.
Thank you. How long did she work there?
About 3 or 4 months, maybe.
Okay.
She was hired just at the beginning of our busy season, which is September, and this happened. So maybe it was closer to 5 months, and this happened in February. So I think she was hired, I want to say, in mid-October, maybe.
Okay. Do you have any written internal reports from that night?
Yes.
Yes.
You do have the lot.
Or
yes.
notes, if you wouldn't mind forwarding them to us for our review.
Yeah. And I also emailed to the owner the whole, like I can do that. Sure. So send the log for the day.
That would be great. Commissioner Curran and Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
Do you guys have the video still?
Yes. Well, I do have the video that I took. Yes. The video, like our video recorded just last 7 days. So when I went to send to Detective Curley, it was already gone. But I do have a video of the video. Yeah.
Okay. Can you forward that to us?
Yep.
Thank you.
There also was an email recount of what happened I sent out that night as well.
Yep.
Thank you. Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Detective Curley, it looked like you just unmuted yourself. Was there something you wanted to add?
Just that I did review the video at the time, and this didn't seem like a criminal matter to me. It seemed like a civil incident.
Thank you. With that, we will await the internal report, video, and any email accounts or anything else that may be in the licensee's possession germane to this matter. With that, the board will take this under advisement for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 3, Adair Inc., doing business as Ned Divines, located at 2201 Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Date of the incident, February 16th, 2025. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning again, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the licensee. With me this morning, Todd Bennett, who's the general manager, and Jerry Desalinas, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, member of the security staff. Good morning.
Thank you. I only see one individual on screen right now. I'm not sure Mr. Desalinas is with us.
Oh my God. Todd, do you know if Jerry's with us here this morning?
Oh, there we go.
There he is. Okay.
Great. He is with us on camera. Is that you, Mr. Desalinas? Great. Thank you very much. Who's present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Officer Santana or Detective Pearl, if they're not here, Lieutenant Detective Troy. Detective Webster's here also as part of the civil rights investigation.
Great, thank you very much. Yes, I do see Detective Webster. She has already identified herself previously. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Lieutenant Detective Troy, will you be reading the police report into the record for the board?
Yes. Reading from a report written by Officer Santana on February 16th, it reads as follows. About 1:29 a.m. on Sunday, February 16, 2025, Officer Santana and Chewell responded to a radio call for an assault and battery at 1 Faneuil Hall Marketplace, Boston, Ned Divines. On arrivals, officers spoke to victim number 1, Mr. Donovan, and victim number 2, Mr. Cameron, outside of Ned Devine's. Victim number 2, Mr. Cameron, began to slur his words. Officers could smell alcohol coming from his breath, and he informed officers he was assaulted by the staff of Ned Devine's. Victim number 1, Mr. Donovan, stated that he was also assaulted by a staff bouncer while he was trying to separate Mr. Cameron from arguing with one of the bouncers, who was identified as Jerry Dessalines. Victim number 1, Mr. Donovan, further stated that the argument was over the other victim, number 2, calling Mr. Dessalines the N-word. This was when another bouncer, George Delata, punched both victims in the face. Both victims said the bouncer Delata was inside the bar and wouldn't come out to identify himself because of the officer's presence. They then began to yell at other staff members. Officers observed minor injuries on both victims. Victim number 1 appeared to have a minor red mark bump on his forehead, and victim number 2 had a minor scratch by his nose cheek area. Both parties did not want EMS. Officers approached both bouncers, Dessalines and Delata, inside of the above. Both were very cooperative. Mr. Dessalines informed officers that both victims were claiming that they were already in the bar and tried to return after hours. However, Mr. Dessalines tried to inform them that the bar was closed. Mr. Dessalines stated that the victim number 2, Cameron, was verbally aggressive during the entire altercation and began to call him a racial slur. Mr. Dessalines further stated that both victims tried to push themselves in an aggressive manner, and this is where when the co-worker, Delata, tried pushing the victims back to prevent them from entering the premises. Officers provided all parties with a report number and advised the victims to leave the area. Officers notified the patrol supervisor, Sergeant Conroy, for a code 35, which was done shortly thereafter. That's a supplemental report written by Sergeant Conroy, and it reads as follows. About 2:04 a.m. on Sunday, February 16, Sergeant Conroy conducted a code 35 licensed premise inspection regarding an assault at Ned Devine's. Sergeant Conroy issued a licensed premise inspection notice to Ned Devine's for assault and battery, employee and patron, which was received in hand by manager Christina Doherty. That's the extent of the police reports.
Thank you very much. Attorney Quilty, would you like to address the alleged incident?
If I may, this is actually an assault against the employees. These individuals were called racial slurs. They're simply doing their job. Mr. Dessalines did a fantastic job in this circumstance, trying to keep these 2 drunk people from getting into the place when they're trying to close for the night. And that's exactly what happened. They turn the tables on him, start calling him racial slurs. It's pretty clear from the report. The officers indicated that these 2 were, had a belly full, and they were the ones causing the problem. Mr. Dessalines is with us here this morning. He was the person attacked. He was the person called a racial slur. He was simply doing his job and was attacked by these 2 punks, is about what happened. Mr. Dessalines, you're here with us this morning? Jerry?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Would you, in your own words, just tell the board what happened to you that night?
Okay, so on the night in question, it was about, I'd say about 7 to 8 minutes before we closed. And I was actually at the exit where all the patrons come filing out at the end of night. So I was actually in a conversation with a patron that had just came downstairs. We were speaking for a short time when these 2 gentlemen showed up. They were never in the bar, just to clarify, they were never in the bar, but they showed up as in to say, well, we want to come in. And I said, I'm sorry, guys, the bar is closed for the night. There's no entry. So at that point, they both kind of like try to press their way in, and I was like, listen, I could detect the odor of alcohol and see based on my analysis of their demeanor that they had had more than their fair share to drink. So when they pushed their way into the entry area where I was standing, I says, listen, you guys can't come in, try another night, next weekend, whatever would have you. And the one that started calling the racial slurs and everything, he was on the landing, and I was like, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. You can't be in here. And the staircase need to be clear for safety reasons. And that's when he began to protest, and his partner was there as well. But it seemed as though at that point that the person he was with kind of resigned at the fact that he wasn't getting in, but the initial person just continued, to press the issue. And I was like, you really can't get in here. So when he realized that he wasn't going to gain entry to the bar, he decided to, speak in derogatory terms towards me. And the whole time I was just like, listen, I mean, I've been doing this for over 3 years, and I get it. People aren't always happy with the decisions you make as far as letting them in or doing them a solid. So they'll feel however they're gonna feel. That's just the nature of the business. That didn't bother me at all. So when he realized it wasn't gonna happen, he started to call me a piece of shit N-word, and I'm gonna get you fired and things of that nature. At that time I had no physical contact with the individual, and I just kind of ushered him out of the entryway. But at that point he was standing on the property of Net Divines in the patio area, and I didn't want him to stay there because of his demeanor. And knowing that he was upset and people now were starting to file out, I didn't want him staying there because people usually in that mind state would just pick a fight with somebody else. So I proceeded to ask him, listen, you can't get in, but you can't stay here. You can be in the courtyard. I have no control or no obligations or responsibility of who's in the courtyard, but I can't have you standing here at the doorway. So I was kind of like trying to coach him away from the doorway, and he climbed up on the stairs on the landing. And that's when he proceeded to continue to badger and say racial slurs. And then he lunged at me. So when he lunged at me, I just kind of stepped back and put my forearm out, and he would come at me, and I think his friend did get in the middle somehow. I'm not sure if he was trying to attack because I was focused on the person in question. And my coworker was there who was trying to assist. And I think one of them struck him. So I pushed him off of my coworker, and the guy continued to lunge at me, and I would just use my forearm as a defense to keep him from coming into my center mass. So I never actually placed my hands on him, but I would use my forearm to keep him off me. And after the third encounter, when he was rushing me and I pushed him back, and he realized he wasn't going to get anywhere with that. That's when he proceeded to pull the phone out and call the cops. And I was like, that's fine. You're entitled to do that. But just know everything's on camera. So whatever you're claiming happened, I know didn't happen. And that's where we are.
Thank you, Mr. Jesselines. The board may have some questions for you.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll see if there are any questions. Chairman Joyce?
Thank you for that explanation. It's very helpful. We did receive a lot of video. Can you just describe for me, what do employees wear? It's hard in some of the videos to determine who a patron is and who an employee is. Were you wearing something that said security or staff or something like that?
Well, I have a work jacket It was cold that night, and it clearly says, like this sweater, like this shirt, it says Net Divine staff. So it was clearly visible that I was employed there.
Is there anything on the back of it that says?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't have any other questions right now. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
Just for further ID, did you have a hat on and your coworker had a beard?
Correct.
All right, I think I got you. I don't think I have any questions. Thank you.
None from me. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, then the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 4, Ristorante Cesaria Inc., located at 266 Bowden Street in Dorchester. Date of the incident, February 28th, 2025. Radio call for a fight inside that spilled outside to sidewalk. Patron versus patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Antonio Barros, co-owner of Restaurant Cesaria.
Thank you, Mr. Barros, for being with us. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Officer Payne is not here. Lieutenant Detective Troy.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Lieutenant Troy, if you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Reading from the police report written by Officer Pina, it reads as follows. At 12:49 a.m. on Friday, February 28, 2025, Officer Pena and Vrabel responded to a radio call for a fight at 266 Bowden Street, Cesaria Restaurant, Dorchester. Sergeant Woods, along with multiple District 11 units, were also on scene. On arrivals, officers were met by a restaurant manager identified as Alex Gomez, who stated a group of people were fighting inside the restaurant and that the suspects had fled the scene prior to police arrival. Mr. Gomes stated that he did not know any of the individuals involved and could not provide a description or direction of flight. Officers made contact with one of the victims, identified as Alexander Cardosa, who was standing by the exit door. Cardosa stated his friend was being assaulted by a group of unknown individuals and that he attempted to break up the fight and he was punched in the face. Officers observed Cardosa's left cheek to be swollen. Officers then proceeded to the back of the restaurant where they met the second individual, a second victim identified as Giovanna Lee Barbosa. Barbosa stated that he was assaulted by a group of unknown individuals. Barbosa could not provide officers with the reason for the fight. Officers observed Barbosa's left eyelid to have a minor cut and to be swollen. Barbosa did not have a description of the suspects involved. EMS arrived and transported both Cardosa and Barbosa to Mass General Hospital for treatment. At about 1:15 a.m., Sergeant Woods entered Restaurant Cesaria and issued Antonio Barros, owner of the restaurant, a licensed premise citation for patron-on-patron fight. Mr. Barros accepted the violation. That's the extent of the police reports.
Thank you very much. Mr. Barros, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, members of the board. The unfortunate incident took place February, occurred between two individuals that knew each other. One of the individuals called the other one and motioned them to come over. And as he did, the incident quickly escalated as one of the individual called the other one over, slapped the other individual and ran outside, and he was followed by that individual and some of his friends. And our security staff quickly broke the fight, and I immediately called police. And when they arrived, the situation was under control. We had already taken with the individual with the injury to the back of the restaurant to assist him with his injuries, gave him ice pack um, and it's pretty much the entire incident. The officers met him in the back, called for EMS, and the other individuals who were also involved in the fight had already left the scene. So we've since then taken proactive steps to revise our dress code on Thursday nights. We no longer permit athletic wear, sweats, hoodies, and trying to make it a more friendly atmosphere, family oriented. We've already seen a positive change in that regard, and more energy, positive energy in the atmosphere. We've always do our best to make sure our patrons and staff are utmost safety.
Thank you very much. Anything further before we move to questions?
Thank you. My only question is, do you have any internal notes or a report of this incident from that night that you could share with us?
Yes, we do.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind forwarding that to the board, I have no questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
I have no questions. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferris. Please do forward any internal notes you may have as requested by the chair, and otherwise the board will take this matter under advisement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling item number 5, Dorchester Tavern LLC, doing business as Dot Tavern, located at 840 Dorchester Ave in Dorchester. Date of the incident, March 16th, 2025, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, pepper spray, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, Chapter 265, Section 15A, and failure to notify Board of Armed Security in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Yes, Carolyn Conway, on behalf of the licensee, and I have with me this morning Miss Megan Driscoll, who is the person in charge that evening, and also Dermot Carey, who is the security that is referenced in the report.
Great, thank you. I do see them both. Who's present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective Jason Turcott.
Detective Hernandez.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I do.
Thank you. Detective Turcott, will you be reading the police report into the record for the board?
Yes, I will.
Great. You may please proceed.
All right. Good morning, chairpersons. About 6:34 p.m. on Sunday, 3/16/25, Officer Czar and the Chessie, while assigned to the Fox 112 Frank, responded to a radio call for an assault and battery in progress at 840 Dorchester Avenue, Boston. Upon arrival, officers spoke with the victim, Aidan Farwell, and witness Chris Sederquist, who stated that they and their friends were waiting in line at the Dot Tavern located at the above address. The victim stated that they had an open bottle of tequila with them in line. The victim stated that they were approached by the suspect, bouncer of Dot Tavern, Dermot Carey, who informed them that they could not have an open bottle of alcohol with them in line. The victim stated that they got rid of the bottle and got back into line. The victim stated that the suspect then stated that they were not welcome to go into Dot Tavern. The victim stated that he was having a disagreement with the suspect about not being allowed in when the suspect brandished a bottle of pepper spray and sprayed him. The officer observed the victim's eyes to be watering, puffy, and red. The victim was evaluated by EMS Ambulance 6. Officers spoke with the suspect, Dermot Carey, who stated that the victim and his friends had an open bottle of tequila in their possession, which he informed them they needed to get rid of or they would not be allowed into the establishment. The suspect stated that he stated, "Leave or I will pepper spray you," to the victim and his friends. The suspect stated that the victim refused to leave, so he got a bottle of pepper spray and sprayed him. Officer seized the bottle of pepper spray from the suspect and logged it into evidence at C6, District C6. Officers informed Sergeant Detective Gallagher, the Victor 923, and Detective Hernandez, the Victor 815, of the incident, who stated that they would conduct a licensed premise on the Dot Tavern tonight. The victim was escorted home by his friends, and body-worn cameras were activated for this incident. There isn't a supplemental written by Detective Hernandez.
Yeah, I can read that.
All right.
Thank you. Good morning. On Wednesday, March 19, 2025, Sergeant Detective William Gallagher and Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the BPD License Premise Unit, went to the Dot Tavern to speak to staff regarding an aggravated assault incident. The incident occurred on Sunday, March 16, 2025. Detectives spoke to the person in charge, Ms. Megan Driscoll, who confirmed she was aware of the incident. Ms. Driscoll stated that she had security camera video and that she would be providing it to detectives. As a result of the incident, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued license premise inspection notice 019645 for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, pepper spray, employee on patron, and having armed security without prior license board approval. Ms. Driscoll signed for and accepted the notice. That's all on that report.
Thank you very much. Attorney Conway, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I submitted video this morning, and I know that you would like to get it in advance. However, we had some technical difficulties with the video in that when it first came out, because it was going from different cameras, the timeline wasn't right. So it took us some time to put the cameras all together. So what you have this morning gives you a full picture, so it's not jumping back and forth. It was very confusing before. But we have submitted the videos. I would also like to mention that the owner, Doug George, is here. He has no personal knowledge. Mr. Carey, can you give your full name to the board, please?
Dermot Michael Matthew Carey.
And you were working on the night the evening of March 16th at the Dot Tavern, is that correct?
Correct.
And you were working at the door that was not the main entrance, but the door that many customers leave from?
Correct.
And was there a line that night?
There was.
And can you please tell the board what you observed with respect to two individuals that were in the line?
Drunken, disorderly behavior with an open bottle. I asked them to dump the bottle. They dumped the bottle, but were continuing to be rowdy. So it was decided by myself to not allow them to come into the bar. At this point, they then became aggressive and verbally just aggressive throughout. This continued for about 20 minutes. I left the scene and then came back 5 minutes later from the other side of the door. They had fished the bottle out of the trash and continued with their verbal abuse.
And they directed slurs in your direction?
Correct.
Is that correct? And is that, did you feel threatened by them in any way?
Yes.
And you had pepper spray on you, is that correct?
I do, for personal use, yes.
Had you ever given the Dot Tavern any notice that you had any pepper spray on you?
No.
And the personal use is that you have the pepper spray on you because you walk home, is that right?
I walk home in the evening, yes.
Okay, so, and since this incident, have you brought any pepper spray to the licensed premises?
No.
And so what it was is that this was an incident that the verbal abuse and the disorderly conduct was escalating by these gentlemen, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Megan, you were the Megan Driscoll, you were the person in charge that evening?
Yes.
And can you tell the board what you observed on that evening?
I didn't observe the actual incident happen, but I did see the kids with the bottle. And after he first originally told them to leave, I thought it was fine then, and then I wasn't informed of the incident until the police showed up.
Okay, and did you have any prior knowledge that Mr. Carey had pepper spray on him?
No.
And can you tell me what the policy of the licensee is with respect to having pepper spray or any other kind of weapon on security?
We do not have armed security, and moving forward, do not plan to. And we don't.
Okay, so we never had armed security as part of our policy. Is that correct?
Yes.
As I said, I know that you now have the videos. You will see that several times these two gentlemen, if that's a good word for them, move away and then come back. Although there's no sound on the video, you can see that they are yapping at Mr. Carey, and we regret the incident, but we will make sure that it doesn't happen again. But we did not have any armed security at all, and will not in the future.
Thank you. Anything further before we move to questions?
I have nothing else.
Great. With that, we'll see if there are any questions from the board. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. I don't have any questions right now.
I was looking through the videos. I haven't found, do we have video of the spraying?
If you look, it's towards the end of the video. You will see that it happens up past. Mr. Carey made sure that he got the person away from the other crowd members. So you'll see it. It kind of happens out on the street up from the licensed premises.
Okay. How many videos did you submit?
We submitted 3.
Yeah.
So they should
So
go.
I have one that's labeled part 2. And
Okay,
the timestamp on it ends at like 6:08 and change. He's just beginning to draw the someone out of line, and then it ends.
Okay, there should be a part 3.
Yeah, but part 3 is actually in timestamp is before part 2.
Right, that's because of the screwiness, but you'll see that you can see the actual Mr. Carey lean over into the dark-haired individual, and that's when it happens. It's not in the crowd. You can't see it down towards the bottom of the screen. It's towards the top.
Just give me a moment. Yeah, I'm just letting you know, I'm not seeing it on part 3.
Okay, Megan, do you?
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
Sorry for the delay. We want to make sure we answer your question.
I think part 3 is maybe like it's different. It's different sections kind of put together. And sometimes there's a timestamp and sometimes there isn't a timestamp. But I haven't found in part 3 the spraying.
Well, why don't we see if we can find it, and then we can email the board on what video it can be found and at what time.
Of the video, yeah. Okay. I appreciate that.
Sorry, it actually is on part 2. I think maybe when I uploaded it, the titles of each video, but it would be towards the end of the video when there's around 20.
Yeah, at the very end of part 2 that I have, you can see him pulling him out of line, and then it ends.
That's when it happens.
It's right around.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened yet. He has his hand on his shoulder, and then it ends.
Okay, that's really it.
If you wait a few seconds, it shows it. But I can send a better video.
What we'll do is we'll give you an exact time so that you can reference from the video so that you can see it. As I said, that's why we had a little problem with the video just to get it together so that it looked so that we could show you to it in chronological order.
Yeah, in part 2, I guess, at the very end, you're doing some zooming. It's showing like 18:08:55. During the zooming, that goes away, and like 2 seconds later, it ends with not showing the spraying.
Okay, we'll make sure that we get that to you.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Nothing additional. I'll wait the edited video.
Thank you. If there are no further questions from the board, then we will just await either better video or timestamp of where the actual spraying incident can be found.
Okay.
With that,
We'll
the
make
board
sure
will-
that we get that as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, and then the board will take this under advisement in the meantime. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, calling item number 6, the K's Inc. doing business as Sissy K's, located at 6 Commercial Street, date of the incident, March 15th, 2025. Overcrowding on the second floor, mechanical count 126 in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.03J and 1.06A and F. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Morning, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Tyler Hensler on behalf of Sissy K's. Joining me is Manager Nico Baldessari, who will be testifying, and owner William Johnson, who may offer responses to any questions the board may have.
Thank you very much. I did see Mr. Baldessari for a moment, but anyone off camera? There we go. Thank you.
Sorry, I was moving rooms.
No worries. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher.
Detective Hernandez if needed.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
Lieutenant Detective Troy if needed.
Thank you. Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, will you be reading the police report to the record?
Yes, good morning. On 3/15/2025 at about 4 p.m., Lieutenant Detective Adrian Troy, Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Sergeant Detective Charlie Salucci, and Detective Eddie Hernandez conducted a licensed premise inspection of Sissy K's at 6 Commercial Street, Boston. Inside the premise, detectives, staff applied 96. Detectives proceeded to the second floor where they observed it to be quite crowded. Lieutenant Detective Adrian Troy conducted a mechanical count which revealed 126 persons. These results were relayed to the manager, Mr. Nico Baldessari, who stated he would bring the premise into compliance. There were no further violations observed. As a result, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued licensed premise inspection notice number 0215257 to Sissy K's for overcrowding. 126 found on police count, capacity, second floor 96. Mr. Nico Baldessari signed for and accepted the notice. Just backdrop. So this was St. Patrick's Day weekend, and it was the Saturday before. So we found it and all the bars to be quite proud of that day.
Thank you very much for that. Attorney Hensler, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, just two quick questions. Number one, were the licensee and staff cooperative with the police?
Yes, sir, they were.
Okay, and number two, did the licensee have staff stationed both at the bottom as well as the top of the stairs for the purposes of counting capacity?
Yeah, we did not see someone at the top of the second floor. There was a gentleman down leading up to the second floor, and that's the person we got the count from.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
I'll now ask questions. I have some questions for Nico Baldessari, the manager.
Yep.
Nico, can you please just state your name for the record?
Nico Baldessari.
Great. And what is your position at Sissy K's?
I'm the security manager.
Okay. On the date of the incident, at the time of the incident, were there two staff members taking count on this, one at the top, one at the bottom of the stairs?
Yeah, so we had one guy on the bottom and then one at the top.
Okay. Is that what Sissy K's usually does?
No.
Okay. But did a Boston city official come by a few days before this weekend and ask that you have a second person on the stairs to prevent overcrowding on the staircase?
Yeah, they came by a couple of days before and just had a conversation with me out front.
Okay. So you assigned an extra person to the stairs for that purpose?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the maximum capacity of the second floor in question again?
96.
96, okay. Did the Boston police ask you for the count on the second floor on the date of the incident, or just what the maximum capacity of the second floor was?
They're just asking for the maximum capacity.
Okay, what was the staff's count on the second floor at the time of the incident?
I believe he had around 87.
Okay. And that's including staff, is that correct?
Including staff, yeah.
Okay. When at the full 96 person capacity up on the second floor, does the room look crowded?
Yeah, it's really crowded, yeah, at full 96.
Okay. Is it hard to see, the floor?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have for Nico. So, Madam Chair, members of the board, Sissy Kays has provided the board this morning with 3 photos, which are screen grabs taken from the security footage, taken at the exact date and time of this incident. Photo 1, as the board will see, is of the room in question on the second floor at the time of the incident, timestamped 15:57:18. The board will see that there is a member of the Boston Police Department conducting a manual count of the room, seen in the back of the photo near the stairs, which we have circled in red. This photo is taken from the exact moment the Boston Police's count was taken. The Boston Police cited this room with a capacity of 126 people at the time depicted in this photo. As the board will see, there are spaces seen on the floor, which we just heard Nico testify could not be the case if they were at the full 96 person capacity. I'd like to draw the board's attention when they get a chance to review to the different colored dots that appear in the photo. Each group of dots shows a group of 10 people. You will see in this photo, number 1, that there are 60 people, give or take 1 or 2 that might have been hidden from view. And in the right top corner of the photo, there's an alcove/stage area that is cut off from this angle by the wall. This area is seen in photo number 2. Photo number 2 is timestamped 15:57:18, the exact same timestamp as photo number 1. Photo number 2 shows an additional 16 people for a total of 76 people, again, give or take 1 or 2 that might be hidden from view, that appear in the photos at the exact time the Boston Police conducted its count of this room. The last photo provided is photo number 3. It's of the stairs, showing that Sissy Kays has staff at the top and bottom of the stairs, both who were keeping count to avoid overcrowding on the second floor as well as the stairs per the City of Boston's suggestion. I'd like to note that there are 0 patrons on the stairs. Also visible in this photo is the Boston police officer conducting the count from a different angle, seen in what looks like a gray baseball cap encircled again in red. The timestamp on photo number 3 is 15:57:04, which is 14 seconds prior to photos number 1 and 2. We understand that security camera footage can be imperfect. However, there are only 76 people that are clearly present in this video footage. It would be hard to believe that there are an additional 20 people in these photos that were somehow hidden from the camera's view or not counted. Even if there were, however, Sissy Kays would still be compliant with their maximum second floor capacity of 96. The Boston Police Department's mechanical count of 126 would mean that there would have to be an additional 50 people that are not counted in the surveillance video photographs. These photos clearly refute that. Sissy Kays is an experienced operator. This was not their first St. Patrick's Day. In fact, it was their 32nd. They listened to the City of Boston suggestion leading up to the expected St. Patty's Day rush to have 2 people on the stairs and assigned additional security for that purpose. I will add that the Sissy Kays bar was cited around this time last year for overcrowding during a Celtics playoff game, and the board found them not to be in violation in a similar situation when they presented similar photos to refute the Boston Police Department's count. Sissy Kays therefore understands that counting people in a crowded room can be hard, especially when they're moving around and dancing, so they have no trouble understanding how it's possible that the Boston Police Department may have miscounted 126 people on the second floor. No matter how the Boston Police reached the 126 capacity count, the evidence that Sissy Kays has presented, including Nico's testimony and the surveillance photos, proves that the capacity of the second floor at the time of the incident was not only under 126, but was also under the maximum capacity of 96 people. With that, we're happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Let's see if there are any questions. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. So your testimony was that you did have someone at the top of the stairs?
Yes.
And who was it from the city of Boston that came by the week before? Was it one of the licensed premise unit officers?
I was trying to think back, but I couldn't quite remember. It was either the fire department or one of the guys from ABC, I believe.
All right. Thanks. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
Just a point of clarification, Attorney Hensler, the previous matter that you referenced, is that June 14th, 2024?
Bill, does that sound right?
Well, it was during a Celtics game was the last time that happened. It was like a closeout game on an odd night, so I'm not sure of the exact date. Like a week, it was like a weeknight or something.
Yeah, that sounds like June.
So a finals game. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it was like an away game, and it hit us. That was the one that we got hit with out of nowhere. It was like it just was an away game. No one expected any obviously it wasn't like a game 7 or something, but it was a game like 5 in that series. I think maybe.
Okay.
Last year, I think it was the Eastern Conference Championship. Maybe even one of the finals games. I'm not sure what happened. June 14th would be a finals game. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just a point of the docket I'm looking at says we found a violation and issued a warning.
Oh, my mistake then. Sorry.
Okay. But it was your recollection that a similar argument was made. You were submitted picture photos of stills, and
is that right, Bill?
I don't remember the hearing. I'm not sure.
I just have no recollection of this. So maybe I can go back and review the video. I'd be curious to see what happened there. Yeah, beyond that. So you're saying that in these photos, there's no other corner that we can't see or anything like that?
I can answer that. No, not at all. I watched those cameras and set them all up myself. I know exactly every angle. There's nothing hidden from those cameras at all. The only thing is that main view that goes across. You can judge by the second window, so you know exactly how many you're counting to the right in that camera. Then when you hop over to the other camera coming back the other way, use the exact same second window to count how many people are near the stage area and in that corner. So you're not missing anybody. It starts right at the bar of that camera.
So in the black and white photo, where's the stage area you're talking about?
Stage area is
top
number
right corner.
Yeah, top right corner and photo number 2.
Okay.
That would be out of view from photo number 1. It's the right side of the room. There's like a little jog in the wall.
And what's on the left far corner? That's just a wall there. I see like the pink ones are there.
In the back. Yeah, so if you hop back over to 1, that's where the DJ booth is, and it looks like there's about 8 or 9 people standing in that back corner. There's nothing behind there. It's just a set of stairs that go up to the DJ booth.
Okay, and what is in the extreme foreground of both of these pictures, like the bottoms? A bar?
So the bar is to the left. These people are standing in front of the bar here to the left. Bottom corner of photo 1, that's where the service bar is. It's about 7 feet wide, 2 bartenders on it. And there might be a couple people underneath this camera right there, but that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me see. Hold on 1 minute. I just wanted to see in number 2. Yeah, so you've only got maybe about 3 feet underneath that camera, so there might be a couple people underneath that camera angle on number 1.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Nothing additional, thank you.
Any further questions from the board? With that, the board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the items before the board this morning. The board will vote Thursday, May 29th at 10 a.m. Notice has been posted to the city's website. That will adjourn this hearing. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.